Hello, my sweet kindergarten friends. It's Mrs. Herbay. This week we are talking about symmetry, and symmetry starts with the letter S. And another word that starts with the letter S is the word same. And what symmetry means is the same on both sides. And so we're going to do a project today where you're going to be able to experiment around with symmetry, and we are going to create kind of an imaginary bug. But before we do that, what we are going to do is, if you have printed out this piece of paper that has all these different shapes on it, we are going to fill these shapes with color, because normally at school we would have construction paper and we would probably use that. But since we don't, I'm going to make it easy and we can just use this piece of copy paper. So the very first thing I want you to do is, either if you don't have crayons or colored pencils or markers, you can use your pencil. And what you could do is you could color in some of your shapes. You can color them in different ways. So if you just had a pencil, maybe you would experiment around with, maybe I'm going to make some lines going this way. And then maybe I'm going to make some lines going that way. So I've kind of colored that in one way. And then maybe I'm going to color in, if I wanted to color it in differently, then maybe on this one I'm going to use a dark value. And I could color it in nice and dark. Or maybe I want to color one of the shapes in, if I just had a pencil. Maybe I'm gonna try, if I go round and round, I get something else, all right? So that can be if you only have a pencil. But if you have color, like crayon or marker or colored pencil, we're gonna use those. And so what you can do is, this is gonna be a little bit similar to when I showed you how to color your Mother's Day, the circles for your Mother's Day flowers. It'll be a little bit like that, in that you can choose a color. Maybe I'm going to choose this sort of orangish, reddish orange color. And this is a rather large, it's kind of like a rectangle because it's not perfectly square. But I could choose to color it in all orange if I wanted to. But I could also choose to color it in with different colors. So maybe I'm going to start with it orange. And I'm just going to kind of make, and I think I'll just start with a curved line here. Smooth that out a little bit. And I used, you guessed it, a nice dark value, so I pressed really, really hard. Then I'm gonna draw another curve. And maybe this time when I color it in, I'm going to use a light value. So I'm not going to color it in I'm not going to push very hard when I color it in. And another thing we talked about last week was, we also talked about blending colors. So maybe I want to see what that sort of magenta color looks like with some violet colored over top. So you can also mix colors. So those are some options. And also we talked about last week how sometimes you can color in that way, but similarly to what I did down here, you can just take your crayon and, rather than color back and forth, you can make your hand move in different ways. So there, I added it like that. And same thing, if I was doing this up here with color, let's say maybe I want to take my red, and I'm just going to kind of make lines going that way. And then I'm going to take my blue crayon, and going to fill in and make lines. Going that way. So there's all different ways that you can color in these shapes here on this piece of paper. So I want you to take some time, try to stay in the lines, and I want you to fill in all of these squares or rectangles with color. And again, it could just be a solid color if you wanted to, or you can get fancy and use multiple colors. So why don't you go ahead and do that? And I'm gonna do mine, and then I will come back and tell you what the next step is. Shoo, that gave my hand a workout. I hope you guys got your little fingers to have a good workout coloring in all of your shapes. Now, you can guess what we are going to do is we are going to now cut all of these shapes out from this piece of paper. So what I'm gonna do first is this line goes from, there's a thin black line, and it goes from here and it goes all the way up to here. So I'm gonna cut that one first because it's the easiest. So I'm just gonna take my scissors. I'm just gonna carefully cut along that line so we're getting some more good scissor practice. I'm just gonna put that aside. Then I'm gonna look here and I see, oh, there's this line and it goes all the way up from the bottom to the top. So I'm gonna cut that one as well because that's easy to just cut a nice straight line. And I don't have to worry about stopping. So there's that one. All right. Then, oh, I see another one. There's this line right here. So I'm gonna cut that one. And then I see another one right here. So I'm gonna cut that one. Okay, so now I've got that rectangle and that rectangle. Now I'm going to cut those apart. So I've got a square kind of and another rectangle. And then I'm going to take a look here. I've got one cut here, one cut here. And then this big piece, let's see, I've got a line that goes all the way across. So I'm going to cut this one. And then I have a line that goes from bottom to top. Okay. And then my last one is there. Okay. So now I have all my shapes. And you might say, well, okay, Mrs. Herbay, what are we going to do next? Well, one of the ways that we can create symmetry is by folding a piece of paper in half and drawing a shape on the piece of paper and then cutting it out. And I'm going to show you that trick. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your papers and you can decide whether I want to fold, for example, I'll take this one and I can decide whether I want to fold it bottom to top like that. So this would be more hot dog style, or I might want to fold it hamburger style where it's a little bit fatter. Now we're going to be making bugs, so you might want to have a variety. Like you might not want to fold them all hot dog, but you might want to fold some hot dog style and some hamburger style. So I think I'm going to fold this one hamburger style. So I'm going to take my bottom two corners, match them up. I'm going to hold with my finger. I'm going to slide down, and then I'm swiping right, and I'm swiping left. So there's one, okay? I'm just going to set it aside. Now I'm going to pull up another one. Well, let's see. Now I could fold this one. Again, I could fold this one from this way, or I could fold it this way. That way's a little tricky, so I think actually I'm going to fold this one this way. So same thing, once the corners, I'm going to hold it, swipe down, swipe right, swipe left. So there's that guy. Put that one out of the way. Same thing for this one. I could fold it up it would be a little bit tricky to get it all the way up like that, or I could also just fold it like this. So I think I'm gonna take the easy way out and just fold that one like that. All right, so I want you to keep folding until you get all of your shapes folded in half and that all you see is the white. So I'll give you a few minutes and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, now you should have a nice big pile of your folded shapes and all you should see is the white on both sides, okay? So we're gonna talk about the fold side, which is this side, which is right in here, and we're gonna talk about the open side. Now, when we draw our shapes today, we wanna start drawing on the fold side and go out from the fold side and then come back to the fold side. And you might say, well, how do I remember that? Well, think of this here, the open side, as sort of think of this as an alligator, right? And alligators have sharp teeth and you don't want to get your fingers anywhere near the alligator's mouth, okay? So think about that when you check whether you know whether it's the fold side where the mouth is closed or the open side where the mouth is open. You always want to start on the side where the mouth is closed. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil, and in this case my paper is really long, so I can start by making a shape on the edge, and I could even go all the way out to here, kind of wibble wobble around and then come back. And you can either do it with wavy lines or straight lines. So I'll show you. This one I'm going to do with a wavy line. So I'm just going to kind of go up like that, and then I'm going to make sure when I come back that I also end on this fold here. Now you could have ended it closer there, it's totally up to you. So there is my first shape that I drew. And again, I'm just gonna put it aside. Then I'm gonna take another piece and I see, all right, oops, there's a piece in a piece. So now I'm gonna check which side is the fold side. Oh, that side's the open side, so I don't wanna start on that side, I wanna come over to this side. This is the closed side. And again, you can draw a shape. You can even just draw a simple shape. Like in this one, I'm just going to draw half of a circle, sort of just a curved line. So there's that one. And I'm gonna pick another one. So now here's a tiny little one, all right? Again, there's the open side. I don't wanna get my fingers near there. I wanna start over on the closed side. And if I wanted to, I could also just draw a straight line. So I'm drawing straight and straight back. So that is a shape. Put that aside. This one, ooh, this one's long and thin. I'm gonna check. Can I go in there? No. Can I go in here? Yes, and I don't wanna go in there, so I wanna start over here. Now, since I have all this paper, I might wanna do sort of a crazy shape like that. All right, so I'm gonna put that aside. And this one, let's check for my open side. Do I wanna draw on this side? No, because it's the mouth side, so I wanna draw on this side, the closed side. This one, I'm gonna make it big and crazy and round like that. All right. You don't always have to go back all the way down. Like maybe I wanted to go big and crazy and end it right here. It's totally up to you. So there's that one. This one, I might want to just do straight like that and then down like that. Now this one's interesting. This one is long and thin. So I don't want to draw on this side because that's where the teeth are. So I want to stay away from the teeth. So I want to go over to this folded side. Now this one might be fun. I'm just going to do a wavy line that goes all the way down on that fold. So it starts on one side of the fold and then it ends down here on the other side of the fold. So that one's long and wavy. This one's kind of the same way. Oops, I don't want to draw on this side because the mouth is open. I want to draw on this folded side. So maybe I'm gonna, what should I do here? Maybe I'll do like some zigzag lines like that. So there's that. I've just got a few more. Then this one, oh, no, I want to go over to this side. And maybe I just want to draw maybe I just want to draw a couple different shapes on the edge there. So I drew 1, 2, 3, and I'll show you what that looks like. Then here's one, again, check for, oh, this is the open side, so I don't want to draw anything on this open side. I want to go over to this side, and I'm just going to go, there's a zigzag, and here's my last one. And again, I don't want to draw on that side, I want to draw on this side. And I just might draw like that. All right, now, once you have all those, can you guess what you're gonna do? What we're gonna do is we're going to cut along the pencil line. So I'm gonna start on one side, and we're gonna practice following our lines. And then this is pretty cool. When I open this up, guess what? I have symmetry. This shape is the same on this side as it is on this side. And this is my line of symmetry, okay? So we're gonna put that aside. We can even save, this is kind of fun. This is the negative space that was left from the shape, which is kind of cool. And sometimes you can do stuff with these. So I'm just gonna put that aside. So I want you to carefully go ahead and cut out all of your shapes that you drew along your pencil lines. Here's one more. And you can see this shape has symmetry. It is the same on the left side as it is on the right side. I'm gonna put that aside. This is kind of fun. Let's see what, whoa, check that out. Okay, so go ahead and cut those all out, and then I will tell you the next step. All right, my friends, you should now have a whole bunch of symmetrical shapes. And they're going to be, if you open them up, they're going to be different sizes and different shapes. So these are mine. Remember those tiny little ones I drew? Open that up. So yeah, some are small and some are big. Now what you're going to do is we're just going to kind of have these here. I'm opening them all up. And we're going to kind of play let's make a bug. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to set these aside for just a minute. You're going to grab an extra sheet of copy paper or printer paper. And what you want to do is we're going to practice folding it in half. And I think what we're going to do is I want you to hold your paper horizontally, okay, which is the long way. And we are going to fold up the bottom corners, and we are going to match them up. And then once they're matched, you're going to hold, then you're going to push down with your pointer finger, swipe right, swipe left. By the time that all of this online school is over with, you guys are going to be amazing at folding, at cutting, and at coloring. And it's going to be so cool. All right, so here is my paper. Now, you might say, well, why did we put this fold here? This fold is our line of symmetry. So it tells me that on this side, this rectangle is the exact same size as this rectangle. So this fold is creating my line of symmetry. Now, to create my bug, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all my pieces, okay? And I'm going to bring them down here. And I'm going to think about, well, what kind of bug body do I want? And if you watch some of the fun little stories that I posted about bugs, you might have an idea of what some bugs look like. Most bugs have a body, or actually all bugs have bodies. They have wings, they have 6 legs, they have antenna, they have a head, they have a mouth. But you can also just think of what an imaginary bug might look like too. So this is kind of just a fun way to practice your symmetry. So it doesn't have to be an exact bug. It's going to probably be more like an imaginary bug. So what you're going to do is you can play around with, you want to take the fold. So the fold of this here, I'm going to line up with the fold on my paper. So this shape, and I'm not going to glue it down yet. I'm just going to have fun playing around. Like, oh, maybe this would make cool wings. Maybe, ooh, if I move this up and stick this here, that's kind of like fat body going down into a tail, or maybe I want it to be more like that. I could even put this on top of that to make it fancier. Let me see if I have a good shape for a head. If I wanted a really funky head, I could use this shape. Or if I wanted it to be a little plainer, I could use this shape. All right. Now I also want to show you something fun that you could do. So let's say, so I have this big long shape here, and you're going to say, well, if I put this on one side for a leg, I don't have one that looks like this for the other side. What you could do is, see where this fold is? See right there, there's the fold. You can take your scissors and you could cut along that fold. So now I have two shapes that are exactly the same. So I could put one on this side and one on that side. And I could also do the same with this. If I wanted to cut it in half, I could. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to fold along here, cut along the fold, and then maybe I want one wing here and one wing on the other side. So that's another way that you could do that. If I wanted to put some designs on top of the bug's back, I could use these. Maybe these are some cool eyes that are sticking up. Again, ooh, maybe I want to cut this shape in half here. So now I have two of those. If maybe I wanted my bug to have like pinchers or horns. So you see how that goes. And then I have some that are leftovers. So you don't necessarily have to use them, but if you want to, you can. And again, if I wanted to use one on one side and one on the other, then I'm going to, like, maybe I cut that in half. And then this shape is kind of like a half circle. Maybe that can go down there. Now, if your bug is too big for your paper, what you can do is you could glue two sheets of paper together if you wanted to. And I'll show you how to do that too. So I played around with it and I figured out kind of how I liked it. But I'm gonna just slide these off for a second, because let's say, like we said, oh, I have so many cool shapes and I want my bug to be really long and tall. So if that's the case, you can just take another piece of copy paper. I'm gonna grab mine. Same thing, I'm going to fold the bottom, match up the edges, hold with my left hand, swipe down, swipe right, swipe left. And then what I can do is I can overlap these two pieces of paper a little bit and then line up the middle and the edges and glue it. So that's an option. So what I'll do is I'm going to take my glue stick. I'm just going to put some glue across the top here. And then I'm just going to line up the folds and the edges. And then give it a nice smooth. Now I have a nice big long piece of paper. Okay, so then I'll get back to doing I'll get back. Let's see. I'm going to lay out my bug again real quickly. So this was the tail. This went here. I think this was on the thing. I know I had wings on either side. This was the head. These were, let me move those down. This was the pinchers. These were eyes. And there was that there. I'm trying to remember. Maybe this was here. So I know these were on either side. Oh, I remember this was at the bottom, and you know what, maybe this was here, and I'll put this here. All right, so once you get your bug how you want it laid out, then what you can do is you can glue it. So I'm going to start with the very bottom piece first. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to grab my glue stick, and I'm just going to make sure I put glue all on it. And then I'm making sure, here's my fold, and I'm going to line up my fold with the fold that is on the paper. And then I'm just going to smooth that right there like that. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this top piece on this back piece before I actually glue that one on. So same thing, you're just going to swipe with your glue stick, get this all nice and gluey. And again, I'm going to line up the fold coming down here with the fold on this shape, like that. And then I'm going to take this piece, same thing, I'm going to kind of outline with my glue stick first the edges, and then swipe it in the middle. And same thing, I'm going to line up the fold with the fold. Okay. Then I think I'll glue on these pieces. So I'm going to take this piece and actually, you know what I think I might gonna do? I'm gonna cut this piece in half on that line of symmetry, and I'm going to like add them as other cool like legs or wings. So that's gonna be there. So I think I'm gonna take this piece right here, and I'm going to glue it kind of in the middle here. Again, I'm lining up the fold with the fold here so that this is symmetrical. And then I'm going to take this piece here, glue that there. All right, now this guy's ready to go, so I'll slide these a little bit off to the side and turn it over. Outline around the edge. Swipe in the middle. Now again, here's my fold line, so I'm going to line up that fold line. And you can overlap the shapes a little bit if you want to. Like there. This is kind of turning into a cool bug. All right. Then in the case of the wings, I will just try to get it in about the exact same location as the other side. So that kind of looks pretty good to me. So I'll turn over this wing. I will outline with glue. Stick it on. And if you want to, you can even, if you're like, oh, I don't like it hanging off the page, maybe maybe it's kind of coming here like that. So then this one would also come here like that. So then I'm going to take this guy, outline, how's it look? It's still symmetrical, right? Then I'm going to take these funny pieces. So I'm going to, again, put them back together and then kind of split them apart. So then I'm going to put this piece here, like that. And then this piece here, like that. Then I've got these guys. And if, let's say, I think, well, maybe I have more room down here and I like it like this. So as you're going along, you can kind of change and move things around. It's totally up to you. So I think I might actually put those down there now. So see how as you're going along, you can kind of change your mind as you're planning, or as you're creating. So I'm going to put this guy here. And then this guy's going to go, oopsie. Got a little rip. That's okay. This guy's going to go here. And then last but not least, I think I'm going to move these pieces up a little bit. Now I'm going to do the head, so I'm going to turn the head over. Remember the fold is going to line up with the fold on my paper. Then I'm going to do the eyes. Fold to fold. And then I'm going to do this little side thing here. Side there. And last but not least is my two pinchers, or I guess, yeah, like fangs or teeth or whatever they may be. So I'm going to kind of put one going diagonally that way. And I'll take the other one and do that one that way. So now I have this really cool symmetrical looking bug. And if, let's say, oh my gosh, I have all this left over, that's no problem. What you can do is you can just fold over the excess and cut it off. Or depending on how you folded your shapes, maybe your bug fits on your paper. Or the other thing is maybe you just don't use all of your shapes and you could actually make a couple different bugs. So there we have it. And last but not least, if you wanted to, you can also add some other details with your crayon. So let's say I wanted to add like blacker eyeballs right here. So if I drew a black circle there, I would draw a black circle on the other side in the same spot. If I wanted to add more decorations to the top here, so let's say I wanted to outline this wing. So if I outline around that wing on this side, that means I have to do it on this side so that it is symmetrical. Because if You remember symmetry means the same on both sides. You could also, if you wanted to, draw a background for your bug. You can just be as creative as you want with this. So I hope this was really fun, and I can't wait to see what you have created.